welcome back to my channel, or welcome if you're new. As y'all know, spooky season is upon us. I don't care if it's 80 degrees outside. I don't care if the trees haven't started turning colors. It is fall, I declare. If you guys feel the same way, or you're just looking to get ahead on your fall TBR, you have come to the right place, because today we're going to be going through a bunch of books that I would recommend for you to put on your fall TBR. Books to read to get into the spooky season, or even just like into a little bit of the chillier weather, pumpkin spice latte, leaves falling, you know, the cozy vibes. I've got a humongous list here on my phone of books that I've read, like, not even just this year, but like the past couple of years that I feel like could be good for the fall spirit. And we're gonna be going through some of them. This isn't gonna be like a traditional list necessarily, in the fact that all of the books are like clearly fall books. It's gonna be more of just like the vibe, if that makes sense. Also, look, I gotta show you all this. Look, I pulled my fall decorations out, and look! Isn't this pumpkin so cute? I wish there was a way to like display him. Like, is that kind of obnoxious? I don't know. What if I put him like in front of more of my summery reads? You know what I mean? Is that obnoxious? Maybe a little bit. Sorry, pumpkin, you're gonna have to sit this one out. But also, I'm gonna have books of literally every genre included in here. So basically, I know it's traditional to have like a bunch of fantasy books and like thrillers and horror type books on your, you know, fall TBR. But if those aren't your genres, don't worry. There's gonna be literally everything in this video for you guys. Alright, we're gonna go ahead and get started. I do have to start out with a little bit of a thriller type book. This is The Inmate by Frida McFadden. If you guys have watched my recent wrap-up videos, I actually read this one recently, and I just feel like this book would be the perfect little introduction to the spooky season. It's like a little bit creepy, but not too much. Y'all know I can't really handle like extreme creepy things, so I feel like it's bearable for anybody, honestly. Basically, this woman is a nurse practitioner, and she gets a job at the local prison where she like takes care of the prisoners, and she's like the doctor of the prison, the nurse practitioner. And basically, her ex-boyfriend is in the prison because she put him there. Basically, he attempted to unalive her, and I don't know why she would decide to go work at the prison, but you know, just the plot twist with Frida McFadden. I honestly for a minute thought that, you know, I was gonna get the plot twist, and it kind of was like, oh, okay. But then it completely threw me off. The epilogue in this book was crazy, y'all. It was crazy. I was just like, the epilogue literally made the whole book. So definitely read the epilogue if you read this book. Don't skip it. Yeah, I don't know. I just feel like a Frida McFadden, super easy, quick to get through, and be a good little palate cleanser for your fall TBR. The next book is gonna be another book by Frida McFadden. Don't worry, I'm kind of including these in like little sections of what is what, so if you're not in for thrillers, there's totally gonna be more options to come. But The Boyfriend. This was the first Frida McFadden book that I read, and let me tell y'all, it was crazy. It basically says she's looking for the perfect man, he's looking for the perfect victim. Now, which he would it be? This whole book had me just on my toes. I didn't know who to trust. It was crazy. Plot twist at the end, it got me. My jaw was on the floor. I have a reading vlog over pretty much all of these books I'm talking about, so if y'all are curious, you can go back and find them. But yeah, my reactions to this book were absolutely insane, and I would definitely 100% recommend The Boyfriend by her. It was crazy. Circe, another book that I read pretty recently. This follows the Greek goddess Circe, and I don't know, just something about this book just did something to me. Like, it seemed very autumnal in a way. I don't really know how to describe it, but I don't actually have a reading vlog on this one just because I wanted to take my personal time with it and see if it compared to The Song of Achilles by Madeline Miller, because that's one of my favorite books of all time, and it was a good book. I wouldn't say it at all compared to The Song of Achilles in my opinion, but I still really enjoyed it nevertheless. It's one of those where it's just like hard to explain. I'm just gonna read what this quote from this other person says on the back. A bold and subversive retelling of the goddess's story that manages to be both epic and intimate in its scope, recasting the most infamous figure from the Odyssey as a hero in her own rights. Yep. I feel like a lot of the times the women in the traditional like Greek books like the Odyssey and the Iliad, they're kind of just like left to their own. But this story kind of unpacks who she was, her morals, takes a deep dive into the back of her brain and her inner workings, and we really see the struggles she went through and how she overcame them throughout her life. And yeah, it was just very empowering, and I had such an appreciation for her character after reading this book. I would really recommend. Now, who would I be if I didn't recommend The Song of Achilles? Oh my gosh, this book was heartbreaking. It was beautiful. It was a story of love and loss and grief and family and just battling for one's country. It was like everything and more. So epic, and just the love story, it broke my heart. Be warned, your heart will be shattered into a million pieces after you read this book. But I don't even care. It was so beautiful. I really would love to do a reread. Yeah, basically this follows the story of Achilles, another book following one of the characters from the original Odyssey. I think maybe he was in the Iliad, maybe both, I don't know. But it follows the war that was going on. The one where like Helen was captured and they're going to this like 7-year war or however long it was. I've kind of forgotten a little bit of the details, but what matters to me in my brain was the epic love story, okay? Too good. I highly, highly recommend. 6-star read right here. The next book I have to recommend is a dark romance. Is my phone showing? Don't show my list prematurely. This is Haunting Adeline by H.G. Carlton. This is the first dark romance I've ever picked up and one of the only ones, honestly. I really need to expand my horizons with dark romance. I told myself I would after these because, I don't know, there's something. They're really something, y'all. Trigger warnings. Search your trigger warnings before you go into these because they're crazy. Basically, this man, what is his freaking name? I forget. Oh, Zaid Meadows. Yeah. He stalks the main girl character in this book. And somehow she likes it? Hello? But somehow it makes you like him too? It's a little bit crazy, y'all. It's a little bit crazy. It's kind of scary at times, but it was pretty good overall. And it also follows like a darker backstory that's going on in the background, and especially after you get into the second book, really picks up more. That one was, to me, actually I'm gonna get that one. The second book, dang it. The second book, which is Haunting Adeline, definitely a lot more on the traumatizing side. I honestly don't know how she moved on after what she went through in this book. It was quite something. And yeah, I don't know. In my opinion, the first book was significantly better than this one, just because this one was so, it went into some serious heavy topics that like, I'm seriously like, how do you even move on from that with your life? But somehow she did. Rather quickly too, I don't know. But yeah, we're just gonna, it's just a little book, you know what I mean? Like, it might be a little bit, it might push your moral boundaries, right? But at the end of the day, it's just a little story. Okay, we're gonna get into some fantasy recommendations that I have for you guys, because who doesn't love fantasy for the fall? It's literally like the perfect time to read just something so magical, in my opinion. I'm not gonna get all these out, but I will just show the first one, Throne of Glass series. Oh my gosh, this, in my opinion, is like one of the best series of all time. I know that's a bold claim, but I really don't care. I believe it. At least like of the series that I've read so far. I haven't read like a ton of fantasy series, but this series literally, oh my gosh, I think about it like every single day. I'm not getting them all out, okay? They're all right here. You can see them, as well as my other Sarah J. Maas series, Akatar. Both of these are just so amazing. The characters, they're so strong, especially the main character in the series, Selena Sardathian. She is just everything. The way she stands up for her country and her friends and her family and just what she believes in. She is fearless and she's just such a baddie. What can I say? If you're gonna read it, you have to read The Assassin's Blade first. Okay, I don't care what everybody else says. I get technically Throne of Glass was published first, but this book right here happens chronologically before the rest of the series. If you don't read this book first and you go directly into Throne of Glass, you will be spoiling yourself for the most intense moments and just things that happen in this book. And if you want to get the most emotional impact, read this one first. Otherwise, what happens in this book will mean nothing to you. It just won't hit as hard. And let me just say, so many tears were shed. Just reading this book alone, I hadn't read any of the rest of the series yet and I was already crying. Wow. They were just so amazing. So good. I will say that because she wrote Throne of Glass when she was like super duper young, I don't remember exactly how old she was, but however old she was, it does read a little bit immature compared to the rest of the series, but don't let that get you because you're gonna love the rest of it, I promise. If you don't, I don't know what to tell you. I really don't. Next, I'm gonna recommend a little series. This is the Hunger Games series by Suzanne Collins. This series right here, oh my gosh. This is one of those that I just can't imagine my life if I hadn't have read it when I was younger. Like, this holds such a sentimental place in my heart because I read it when I was like in middle school or something, and watching the movies and just incorporating this into like my childhood and growing up, it's just, I feel like I literally grew up with this series and I love it so much. I'm sure y'all have probably heard about it, so I'm not gonna explain like what it has to do with, but it's fantasy, it's amazing, the characters, just everything, and I would highly recommend. I really am dying to do a reread. Let me know if you guys would love to see me do a reread of this series because I'll do it, y'all. I will do it. Going off of that, The Ballad of Songbirds and Snakes follows President Snow's story, and it was crazy seeing like the inner workings of his mind and his downfall. It was crazy. crazy, y'all. It was crazy. And I gave this book a 5 stars because it was just so interesting seeing into his villain mind. Like, the way that he started out one way and his mind was literally corrupted by the government. Crazy, y'all. Crazy. Then we've got Sunrise on the Reaping. I don't actually own the physical copy of this book yet, but I did have it for a while just because my sister let me borrow hers. I'm waiting for it to come out in paperback before I buy it, though. Let me know if it already is. I actually don't know. It might be at this point. But this book follows, who is it? Hey Mitch's story. If y'all know him from the first original series. It was heartbreaking. I will not lie. I will say I enjoyed the Ballad of Songbirds and Snakes a little bit better, but it was just so interesting and heartbreaking, and I just love getting more from that original series with every book. They're just so nostalgic and I love them. And, you know, once again, that whole series, very, very autumnal. Next, we've got the Harry Potter series. I know this is the 4th book, but it was like the easiest to grab out of my box set because, I don't know, I have the whole box set and they all sit on top of my bookshelf if you don't know. But yeah, this is another one of those series that I read whenever I was younger. I think I literally read it for the first time in 2nd grade, which is crazy. Like, my reading level has always been crazy, guys. Not to brag. But I don't know if I fully comprehended it. And yes, that's the only time I've ever read this series. I've watched the movies and stuff like over the years, but I'm dying to do a reread of this series, guys. I'm literally dying because the nostalgia is crazy with these. And yeah, let me know if once again y'all would like to see a Harry Potter reread, because guys, like the wizards and just the wizards and the spells and the potions and the drama between it all, it just is so fall. Like, it's so fall. I don't even know how to explain it, but the nostalgia, I need to reread. I need to do it. If you guys haven't read Harry Potter, do it. It's crazy. Yeah, let me show y'all. Here's the box that I have. And yes, they all have like the original cover designs. I love this set so much. I used to have like the whole entire hardback set when I was younger, but me being an idiot, I decided to get rid of them because I thought I was gonna be a minimalist. Hello? What the heck was I thinking? Now I have this from like Sam's Club, but I still appreciate it, okay? Next, I absolutely have to show y'all this little series right here. This is the If You Had Been With Me series by Laura Nolan. I've recommended this series like countless times. It's the most heartbreaking series, like one of the most heartbreaking books you'll ever read. It follows these kids as they go through like high school together. It is a romance, so it follows these two. They used to be like insufferable whenever they were kids, but she ends up becoming like more of like a weird girl, and then he ends up becoming like a popular boy, and so over the years they just like separate. Sounds really cheesy whenever you just sit here and think about it, but like the underlying, I don't even want to say what happens because it's gonna spoil the whole thing. I was like in shock. My jaw was on the floor. Tears were pouring from my eyes. It was crazy. Now, do I think it should have been left to one book? Yes. I think that this book was kind of just like written later. In my opinion, this book did leave kind of abruptly, like it ended very abruptly, but I do think that was the intention of the author. Like, I think it was left that way intentionally to make you just think and be like more of a shock. Like, it's supposed to leave without everything tied up in a nice little bow, because that's what happens whenever tragedy strikes. And then I feel like she only wrote this one like 10 years later or something like that, just because everybody felt like they needed the loose ends to be tied up. And in my opinion, that kind of did take a little bit from it. Now, I did still read this book and enjoy it, but I feel like I would have enjoyed the series better as a whole if it was just a singular book, if that makes sense. I think it would have been a little bit more powerful. But yeah, heartbreaking, traumatizing, all the above. I would recommend. Guys, we have to do it. Another fantasy recommendation. This is Fourth Wing by Rebecca Yarros, the first book in the Empyrean trilogy. Actually, it's not a trilogy. I think there's gonna be like 5 books total. Right now, there's 3 out. This book follows these kids as they go through this like academy to become dragon riders. It's crazy, I know. And just like something more is going on under the scenes, like behind just like them going through the academy. There's a deeper story, and I feel like the rest of the series is gonna get further into that, and I'm just so excited. Zayden Ryerson, the man that he is, y'all. Oh, it's too good. Too good. Yeah, and like the dragons talk and they have personalities and they're all just so cute. And I love their little like found family that they've got going on, and it's just, it's everything. And the plot twist at the end, I was like, hello, what is this? Not expecting it at all. This book I bought recently, this is Iron Flame. I have not read this one yet actually, but it's the 2nd book in the series, and then I think, what's the 3rd book? I really don't know. I forgot. But I do think I also want to do a reread of Fourth Wing, and then also a read of Iron Flame and Onyx Storm, that's what it's called, in a reading vlog for you guys, because I feel like the first time reading this series is just like something everybody needs to experience. It's so good, and there's nothing like Little Fantasy for the fall season. The next book I want to recommend is at the very bottom of a giant stack of my Colleen Hoover books. It is Verity by Colleen Hoover. This is her take on a thriller novel. It's a psychological thriller about this girl named Lowen. She's basically a struggling author who was hired to complete this bestsellers authors series for her after she like can't complete it because she's kind of left incapacitated in a way. Her name's Verity. While staying in Verity's home, Lowen discovers a chilling, unfinished autobiography that reveals disturbing truths about Verity's past and forces her to question who is really trustworthy. Ooh, it was so good. Low-key a little bit too spicy. It was kind of like crazy, but I would still recommend. The next series is going to be the Inheritance Games series. Basically, this girl Avery, she ends up getting like a call or an email or something that apparently this like billionaire man has passed away and he left his entire will to her. She doesn't know who he is or how they're related or what she ties into this story at all, but she ends up going to the site to see like what the heck is going on, like why her out of everyone, and basically she ends up competing in these like games that the grandfather made for his 3 grandsons and this girl Avery, and it's like figuring out the story into like why she was left this inheritance, what the deal is, like why none of the other grandchildren were. It's very a quick read. It will leave you like page turning. The chapters are so short, like a page or 2, and yeah, secret passages, elaborate riddles, billions at stakes. Very much like eerie, spooky. Definitely one for the season. I loved this first book and I really do want to get into the other 2. I don't know what's been the hold up, but I'll be doing that soon, don't y'all worry. Next, we've got the Shadow and Bone series by Leigh Bardugo. This is another one of those just crazy fantasy series that I really ate up for some reason. I don't know what the deal was, honestly, but I loved it so much. This series follows Elena Starkov, an ordinary soldier who discovers she has a rare power that could save her war-torn country from the Shadow Fold, a region of darkness filled with monsters. As she trains with the magical Grisha and faces the alluring yet dangerous Darkling, Elena must learn to control her power, choose who to trust, and ultimately decide the fate of her world. It was crazy. The end of the first book had me like so gripped. I was like, tears were pouring out. I was just so invested in this series, and yeah, I know a lot of people don't really like this one so much, but I would highly recommend. Then we've got the Six of Crows duology. This book follows this man named Kaz. He is like a criminal lord within this like land of his, and this book is kind of like interconnected in a way with the Shadow and Bone series in that there's still the Grisha and like the magic of the other series, but I would not say that you have to read that series or this one to understand the other. Like you could totally just read this one if you wanted to. Basically, Kaz gathers up a group of outcasts and their mission is to go on this heist that can make them just like beyond rich. And yeah, just the story of their found friendship and the struggles they go on together and just the way they stand up for each other. Love them so much. The second book is Crooked Kingdom, and yeah, I would recommend this series so much once again. I feel like we've gone through so many books. I do have a few more recommendations on here that I'm just gonna list off real quick, but I feel like I've explained so much in this video is already super long. So we've got Normal People, One of Us is Lying and One of Us is Next. That's a little duology. YA, like uncovering a crime, and then They Both Die at the End is another one that I thought could be like fall vibes. But yeah, I really hope this video gave you guys some recommendations for the fall time, some different books that you guys might enjoy. I hope you all enjoyed this video. If you did, please be sure to give it a thumbs up and subscribe for more exciting videos to come. I love you all so much, and I will see you guys next time. Bye guys.